Drutter here. It's January 28th, 2016, still, again. I just turned off the camera from drutterance number 7, but I'm going to do a drutterance number 8 right away, back to back here. Like the other ones, unscripted, unedited, and unprepared. It's just me turning on the camera and saying stuff. And what I want to talk about today is something that you haven't heard of before. It's called Budzilla. And Budzilla is a cannabis dispensary here in the local Vancouver area. If you don't like to listen to topics about this kind of thing, sorry to hear that, but go ahead and click off now. You should have been notified by the pot leaf on the silver coin here on the thumbnail. But anyhow, the cannabis dispensary Budzilla is in Vancouver. It's just on Kingsway. I've been there a few times. Good guys in there. They have a lounge as well, where they allow patients to come and medicate, either smoke, vaporize, dabs, or edibles, although that's a tough one lately because Vancouver has banned the edible forms, even though the Supreme Court of Canada has upheld patients' rights to use edible forms, any form of cannabis. But anyway, a quick overview of how dispensaries work, at least here in Vancouver. I'll put a video down below that I did earlier in the year about how to get hooked up through the dispensary model here. Dispensary model is essentially a black market or gray market or free market, or however you want to say, way of getting cannabis to people. They are weed stores, essentially. But how they operate, well, each one has a different method of operating, of course, but in general how they operate is you must show medical need, which can be almost anything really. As long as it's a legitimate medical need, you have to bring in a doctor's note, for the most part. And if you don't have a diagnosis or a doctor's prescription or note, then you can see their doctor, and that is also legitimate. They're not pretend doctors or anything. They're just doctors that are willing to prescribe cannabis as a medicine. And what a medicine it is. It is curing my wife Medicatie's cancer and keeping her cancer-free and in remission. So thank you, cannabis. And she's not on any other medications and not seeing any other doctors for that. So that's a success story, and I hope that it continues to be a success story. But we have to fight for the right to medicate. Because how are people going to get this medicine? There's a few different ways. You can grow it yourself, but of course you will be raided by the police, ratted out by your neighbors, hated on by your family, discriminated against, and seen as a bad and dangerous person, even though it is just a plant and just as safe as any other plant to grow. And another way you could do it is through the government, and the government of Canada has a very small number of people in Canada that are taking them up on their offer. It's very hard to get hooked up, and they sell you the weed. It's very, very poor quality. You have to buy it through the mail. You can't see it or smell it before you buy it. You have to buy certain quantities. It's really restrictive and very expensive, and the potency is incredibly poor. The dispensary model, on the other hand, brings cannabis to market in a free market way. If they provide service or product that people don't like, it's buyer beware, just like anything else, and that business won't survive very long. The free market takes care of these things. Of course, you will sometimes buy stuff that you don't like. That happens in electronics. That happens in almost any industry. You can buy things that you don't like. And so the dispensary model is a free market model. And Budzilla is a dispensary that I have been to. Has a lounge, like I said. There's many patients who need the medicine that comes from Budzilla. There's many patients here in Vancouver who are alive because of Budzilla, and I know some of them. So, you know, the Budzilla received a letter today from the city of Vancouver telling them to shut down within 6 months. And it's due to a, quote, declustering process. They're trying to bring dispensaries and spread them apart, spread them out so they're not too close together. They're talking about 300 meters, maybe even 500 meters. What's the discrimination? Why? What have these businesses done that requires them to be far apart, or for them to be far apart from a school, for example? Kids walk home past bars. We don't stop that, right? We just put an age limit on the door, and then the kids aren't allowed in. And if they manage to get in, they're not sold to. That's just how it works in the society right now. And I think that can work with cannabis and models, and in fact it has. We've been doing it in Vancouver for a long time now, and it's been very safe. No one's been injured by cannabis. No kids have managed to get into dispensaries and go on like eating binges and got sick or anything like that. The stigma is unfounded. And the real reason they want to drive dispensaries apart from each other, far apart from each other, they say they don't want them clustered, is because they don't want competition. They don't want the free market to act. Have you ever been to a Domino's pizza? Normally their pizzas are $15 or more each. And there's one next to a dollar slice pizza place. That Domino's will have a special, and that special will be better than any special you've gotten from any other Domino's you've been to. And the reason is the free market. They have to compete. Right? It's not just in pizza that exists. It's in all markets. And in the cannabis market, I have seen this. When dispensaries are closed, prices go up, quality goes down. And that is what they're trying to do with this declustering process. And that is why Budzilla is being closed. It's not because they do anything wrong there. It's not because they've hurt anyone. It's not because they are trying to force their products on anyone. They have been very compliant with the city's ridiculous rules and fees, and yet they're still getting shut down. So this video is in support of Budzilla. I think I've gone all over the map with my rant here. But I'm just trying to say this video is in support of Budzilla. And in greater, broader than that, it's in support of the entire dispensary model over the LP model. The LP, the licensed producer, fuck you guys, fuck you monopoly men. You are hurting patients, you sick fuckers. You're shutting down good dispensaries, good private free market businesses that the people choose to support or not support consensually, and you're forcing a model of shitty, low quality, non-medicine on the patients and sick people of this country. And I'm not okay with it. And I'm not ever going to accept the LP model in Canada to distribute this medicine. The only thing I will accept is a completely 100% free and fair market, which means everybody, not just corporations, everybody can grow, use, produce, concentrate, extract, sell, buy, trade, give away cannabis as though it were an organic tomato from my fucking backyard garden. That's what I want to see. And yeah, I'm getting a little fired up here, so I'll end this video now. This is in support of Budzilla. We're not going to let you close, Reg. I know the owner of this place, and he's a good guy. I know a lot of the employees there. Good people, helping their community, benefiting the area, paying taxes, following as many regulations as they can, and still getting shut down to bring on the LP model. Fuck that. I support you, Budzilla. I support the cannabis culture in Canada and around the world. And I support liberty. Free the weed.